So you're the guy who started the Wall Street Bets subreddit that like broke Wall Street and the internet just a couple of months ago.
Yep. That would be me.
You're responsible for that. No, let
Well,
me.
I mean, I started it. I didn't
Yeah.
per se.
So first of all, let me just ask you this: what's up with all of the? I mean, all the trolls on YouTube and everywhere else saying like, "This guy's a fraud. This guy didn't start Wall Street Bets. Do your homework. Fuck this guy." What is all that shit about?
I'm yet to see somebody that says I didn't start Wall Street Bets. That's the one attack that I haven't seen. I've seen everything else though. I mean, it does surprise me that I haven't gotten that one. Look, there's a story behind one. There's a great story behind that. I was removed as a moderator, so I started it in 2012, and I was in charge of that subreddit until April of last year. And some things went down between me and some other moderators, and I got removed. Right. Uh, that the particulars to that story are good, and they're also been sold to a movie studio. So I can't get into those details, but I can give you all sorts of insights as far as what went down, right? Based off of some public information that you'd have to kind of scrap together. But the accusation that was leveled against me was that I sold out the subreddit, that I was trying to profit from it, right? Which is, it's a silly argument in and of itself. But I did two things that triggered these accusations. The first one was I wrote a book and I started selling it on Amazon, and I was promoting it on Facebook and on Twitter, just like you would any other product. And obviously I also promoted it on Reddit. I did a AMA on that subreddit, and I posted a link on the subreddit. But saying that I wrote a book to sell out the subreddit is a bit of it's a bit of a shallow argument, because for starters, I wrote a book, right? If I wanted to really just kind of make a quick buck, writing a book is not the way to get rich. I'd be selling t-shirts like the current moderators that are doing just that and have their link on the side of the subreddit. That's the first part. The second of all, the book itself wasn't even about the subreddit itself. It was more about the stock market and things. The second thing that I was accused of was to create a scam competitive day trading competition. So I had this vision last year that since people are starting to treat this thing like a video game, meaning the stock market, and video games as a whole are just a really up and rising market. And I decided to kind of merge those two ideas together, where we'd have kind of a competition. I'd rented out the biggest esports esports stadium in the US. And I was going to have 12 contestants go on there and actually trade real stocks with real money on the stock market for a couple of days, and give a huge prize to whoever won, plus whatever he gets to make from the trading competition. Unfortunately, coronavirus showed up and it shut down the world. It shut down the Olympics, all the sports, all the traveling, all that. So of course my idea went down. And so I was accused of trying to scam people from their money there, right? Like they said that I'm going to take their money for entering the contest or whatever. But that's a silly argument that doesn't really hold up. It doesn't hold up because I have a lot more to gain by actually doing this than I would from making a quick buck, stealing, a couple $100,000 and then going to jail. And so that argument is going to fall apart, because of course I had the whole thing tied up, and now I'm putting it back together again. Coronavirus is under control. This thing has only grown. The attention has only increased. The number of people that are in the stock market's only bigger. And so now I have people in casinos that are competing to try and have this event at their place. And so sooner than later, I'm actually going to pull this thing off. And so both of those arguments are going to kind of fall between the cracks.
Oh, that's cool, man. So you're still trying to make that happen. What was I going to say? You sold the rights to the story of the breakup between you and the guys who are currently in control of it. Can you tell me which studio you sold it to?
Yeah, it was Rat Pack.
Pack.
It's public. Yep, it's a big studio. They did hundreds of movies that are really big.
So did they reach out to you like when this whole thing like sort of blew up on the internet?
Yeah, it was actually kind of interesting. I started getting contacted by all sorts of movie people, producers and writers and directors and studios. This was far outside my understanding. The Hollywood business is completely foreign to me. And so I started kind of lobbing the calls, and everyone was super helpful. There was one guy even wanted to try and secure me so bad. He bought a flight to Mexico, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to be there. My flight lands tomorrow morning. You know, I'm going to take you out for some drinks, and we're going to sign this thing, right?" And I was like, "Dude, you should have asked me because I'm going to be out of town this week." So he came down to Mexico, and I don't know what he did.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I ended up talking to a lot of people, a lot of big names that you'll probably recognize. They worked on a lot of really prominent movies. A lot of people that ended up signing deals of their own with movie studios, and kind of hearing out their pitch and learning about how it works. And the most promising offer was this one from Rat Pack. So I just went ahead and took it.
Now, did those guys talk to the other guys on the other side of on the guys who are running the Reddit thread now?
It is a deep rabbit hole. There's so many people that are running the Reddit thread now. And in fact, the people that were running the Reddit thread then were different than the ones that are running it today. And by then, I mean January
really?
or February. Yeah, because there continues to be drama, some of it related to the original problem and some of it not. But essentially, I was at the top, and then there was, and the way that Reddit works is you create a subreddit, you're the top moderator, and you basically have full control. You can add and remove every moderator below you. You have full permissions. And as you go adding moderators, you can give them permissions. And even if you give them full rights so they can do whatever they want, they can't remove anyone that's above them as a moderator. So if there's ever a disagreement, whoever is further up the food chain is ultimately the one that's in command. And so the group of people that were left there before, there was some more infighting, and those guys, to the best of my understanding, they did speak to movie studios. And I don't know if anything happened with that. I think it also had partly to do with the fact that they too ended up getting removed by now this third group of moderators. So it's kind of the Wild West there.
So if you were on the top of the food chain, how did you end up getting removed?
Those rights belong to Rat Pack.
Okay.
No, they did a very good job. Like it was a complicated situation, and they effectively managed to overthrow me. They got Reddit involved, and Reddit decided to pull the plug, and that's how they did it.
Wow.
And I did it twice. They did it again with the other guys too.
No fucking way. That's pretty bonkers, man. It's such a fucking wild story. And you were like everywhere in the media. You're getting interviewed by Cuomo. He's all geeked up on there talking to you, like asking you all these crazy questions.
Yeah.
So,
What's crazy about TV is like you can't really see them. And so, you know, you try to kind of make a joke or crack whatever. You can't, you don't get that corporal language. So I made some little joke with Cuomo because he had just finished roasting Vlad Attentive, the CEO of Robinhood, for, you know, stopping the trades or whatever. And so he was really mean to him. So I was like, "Hey, I'm new to this. Can you be nice to me?" And it was just radio silence, and I couldn't see his facial expression, and he just kind of kept going with his questions. I'm like, I guess not.
that shit was so insane. He looked like a fucking robot. His eyes were like about to bust out of his skull the way he was looking at you. It was insane.